All right, so you guys know how this works by now, right? You send us the interesting stuff and we dig into it. For you, this time around, we're taking a look at David Goggins.
Oh, yeah?
Specifically, someone sent in a transcript from the Renaissance Periodization YouTube channel, and it features an exercise scientist.
Okay.
With a PhD breaking down Goggins' training. The listener said they were super interested in, like, the science behind it, like
Yes.
what actually works, what doesn't.
Yeah.
And, if there are any, like, hidden dangers there.
Right.
Especially because Goggins is known for this, like, extreme training style.
Makes sense.
So I think a good place to start would be with Dr. Mike's, that's the exercise scientist, initial reaction to Goggins' early morning routine.
Okay, so what's he think?
Well, Goggins wakes up at like 3 a.m. every day and then just starts doing a crazy amount of reps of like everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Dr. Mike basically says it's insane overkill for most people.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Right, like who can actually sustain that?
Not many of us, I'd say.
But he does kind of throw out this idea that maybe Goggins is just built different.
What, like genetically?
Yeah, he even jokes that Goggins might be like a cyborg with incredible cardiovascular endurance.
Aha, that's a good one.
So basically, the first takeaway here is don't try this at home unless you're secretly some kind of superhuman, right?
Definitely.
Don't want to burn yourself out on day one.
Oh, way.
Now, there's another interesting bit where they talk about Goggins' weight loss.
Oh, yeah, he lost a ton of weight, right?
He did, like 100 pounds in 3 months.
Wow, that is fast.
Yeah, and what caught Dr. Mike's attention was Goggins saying he didn't get any stretch marks.
Seriously. No stretch marks after losing that much weight that quickly.
That's what he claimed. He attributed it to his psychotic weight routine.
Psychotic weight routine, huh?
Ah!
That sounds pretty intense.
Intense is an understatement.
And no stretch marks, huh?
I know, right? It's pretty wild. Dr. Mike was definitely skeptical.
You think anyone would be?
Yeah, he's trying to figure out, like, if a weight routine could actually prevent stretch marks.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know more about that, too.
Makes you think about what we actually know about that kind of stuff.
For sure.
Especially with such rapid weight loss.
Right.
Now, this whole thing about rapid weight loss also ties into another point Dr. Mike makes about cardio.
Cardio. Okay, so what about it?
He's actually pretty vocal about why relying solely on cardio for weight loss can be a trap.
Really? Why is that?
So first off, he says cardio burns fewer calories than most people think. So you could bust your butt on the treadmill, but it can be surprisingly easy to eat back those calories.
I guess you're right.
Yeah, he even uses the example of a donut basically wiping out a whole cardio session. Right, like that really puts it into perspective. And the second point is that your body adapts to increased cardio.
Okay, how so?
Well, your body's always trying to be efficient, so when you do a lot of cardio, it actually starts conserving energy in other ways. Like, think about it. Someone who walks a lot for their job might burn fewer calories walking a mile than someone who's more sedentary.
That makes sense. I guess their bodies are just used to it.
Exactly.
So basically, their bodies become more efficient, and then they burn less.
Right, your body's smarter than you think.
Yeah.
And this means you might burn fewer calories overall than you expect from all that cardio.
Oh, wow. So is he saying it's pointless?
Not pointless, but his main message is that you can't just outrun a bad diet.
Makes sense. You can't just exercise away all the junk food.
Right.
I
He
know.
even has this line where he's like, you can't actually, in the real world, exercise your way out of a shitty diet.
Uh-huh. No sugarcoating there.
Nope. So what does he recommend then for weight loss if endless cardio isn't the answer?
Well, he suggests a more balanced approach. He says aim for like 8,000 to 12,000 steps a day and include 2 to 4 strength training sessions per week.
Strength training, okay.
But the real key, he emphasizes, is your diet.
Yeah, makes sense.
You got to reduce processed foods and make healthier choices to create that calorie deficit.
All right, so we've talked about the intense cardio and the diet. Now let's actually get into Goggins' specific training. He's got this thing he calls the 100 to 500 routine, which is all about lightweight resistance training.
Okay, so what's the deal with that?
Well, he claims it's how he avoids loose skin after losing all that weight.
Interesting.
Yeah, but Dr. Mike dives into whether that kind of approach is actually effective for building muscle.
I'm listening.
He says that for most people doing those crazy high reps, like 30, 40, even 50 or more with lighter weights, might not be the best way to trigger muscle growth.
So is he saying it's useless?
Not exactly. He acknowledges that for beginners or people who aren't already super muscular, it can still be helpful.
Okay, so it has its place.
And he also points out that some people are just genetically gifted and can respond well to almost any kind of training.
Right, some people just seem to gain muscle by looking at weights.
Seriously. But he does make a distinction between training for what he calls spirit energy, which is like Goggins' whole thing, that mental toughness and pushing limits.
Yeah.
And training for optimal physical outcomes.
So like maximizing muscle growth.
Exactly. So if you're specifically looking to pack on muscle, what does he recommend?
He recommends something called hypertrophy training. It's more traditional, focusing on sets of 5 to 30 reps 2 to 4 times per week.
So heavier weights and fewer reps.
Right. He even mentions they have an RP hypertrophy app and a RP bigger balls program.
What?
I know, right? He throws those in there for fun, a little bit of their own brand of humor.
Got to keep things light.
Exactly.
Speaking of light, let's talk about what Goggins considers a light day.
Uh-oh. This is the 7-mile run thing, right?
Yep.
What does he call that, a light day?
I know, right? Dr. Mike basically says it's insane for most people, and he's not wrong.
Not at all.
Though he admits that for like elite runners, this might actually be a light day.
Yeah, for them, maybe.
But his real message here, and this is super important, is to start slow if you're thinking of emulating Goggins. Like way slower.
Like how slow?
Way slower. Build up your mileage gradually. Don't jump right into 7 miles because you're just asking for an injury.
Right.
And rest. Take those rest days seriously to let your body recover.
So important.
Because injuries can really set you back. So what if you start feeling pain even on those lighter days?
Well, Dr. Mike recommends switching to low-impact activities. So like swimming, cycling, maybe the elliptical.
Yeah, stuff that won't pound your joints so much.
Right. The key is to work around injuries, not just push through them.
Because you don't want to make them worse, right?
No way.
So in addition to the running, Goggins also mixes in calisthenics, like pull-ups and push-ups, what he calls nickels and dimes, and gym workouts.
So he does a lot of different types of training.
He does, yeah. And Dr. Mock's take on this is that it's actually pretty smart.
Interesting.
But he does think a dedicated rest day would make it even better.
Makes sense. Give the body a break to recover.
Exactly. And speaking of recovery, Dr. Mike also talks about something that often gets overlooked with intense training: hydration and electrolytes.
Oh, yeah, that's crucial.
It's not just about drinking water.
No, you lose electrolytes when you sweat, especially sodium.
And those electrolytes are important for a lot of things.
Yep, like proper hydration, nerve function, preventing muscle cramps, all important stuff.
He even mentions a specific product called Element, or LMNT.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
It's basically a way to replace those electrolytes you lose, especially if you're sweating a lot.
Gotcha. So it's not just about water intake.
Nope. Got to think about what you're putting back into your body, too.
Right.
So let's talk about something else that caught my eye: Goggins' calisthenics technique.
What, the pull-ups and push-ups?
Yeah. So Dr. Mike initially seemed kind of skeptical.
About what?
Well, because Goggins talks about these huge volumes of reps.
Oh, yeah, he does a lot.
But when Dr. Mike actually sees Goggins doing them, he was impressed.
What changed his mind?
He was impressed by Goggins' range of motion and control. Like, he does those pull-ups and push-ups with perfect form.
Interesting.
Yeah, not like some people who crank out hundreds of reps with terrible form.
Right. You see that all the time.
And Dr. Mike even says that this good form at high volumes probably leads to a lot of muscle damage, which is good for adaptation.
So even though Goggins' training volume might not be ideal for everyone, his technique itself is solid.
Seems like it.
Okay.
But here's the thing that really surprised me. Goggins stretches for 2 hours every night.
2 hours?
I know, right? 2 hours.
What does he do during that time?
That's what I was wondering.
What does Dr. Mike say about that?
He basically says it's way overkill.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a lot.
Right. For most people looking to improve flexibility, 10 to 20 minutes of focused stretching 5 days a week is more than enough.
So why would he spend so much time on it?
Well, Dr. Mike speculates that maybe he listens to podcasts or watches movies while stretching.
Multitasking, huh?
Yeah, but the point is it's a huge time commitment and probably not the most efficient way to improve flexibility.
Okay, I get it.
And this whole idea of time commitment brings us to a really important discussion about sacrifice.
Oh, okay.
Goggins is all about discipline and maximizing every minute of the day.
Right.
He uses this 2-hour stretching as an example of that.
Like making the 24 hours work for you.
Exactly. But Dr. Mike brings up a crucial point about what you might be sacrificing for all that stretching sleep.
Oh, right. Sleep is crucial.
Huge. He straight up says that sleep is way more important than hours of stretching.
Hey, he's not wrong.
Like 10 times more important.
Wow.
So his advice is don't skimp on sleep for stretching.
Good advice.
Yeah. And I think this gets to a bigger cultural thing where we glorify overworking.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like there's this weird sense of pride in pushing ourselves to the absolute limit all the time.
I'll sleep when I'm dead kind of thing.
Exactly. And Dr. Mike even admits to feeling that pull himself. Yeah, he says there's this glory in overworking, but he stresses that we need to be smarter about it.
So what does he say?
He says we need to have training plans that support recovery, not just constant pushing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that our goals should be based on actual performance improvements, not just this compulsion to do more and more.
So, like, it's not just about how hard you can push yourself.
Exactly.
It's about pushing yourself in the right direction and recovering properly.
You got it. So let's bring it all together. What are the main takeaways here?
So Dr. Mike does acknowledge that Goggins' insane mental toughness, that spirit energy, is really motivating.
It is.
But he's very clear that most of us shouldn't try to copy Goggins' workouts directly.
Why not?
Well, because Goggins is just on a completely different level.
Yeah, he's kind of a freak of nature.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The real lesson for us regular folks is to start slowly, increase intensity gradually, and listen to our bodies.
So find a balance between pushing yourself and recovering.
Exactly. And prioritize sleep.
Always prioritize sleep. So basically, we took a deep dive into David Goggins' intense training through the lens of an exercise scientist.
And we learned a lot.
And while Goggins' mental game is incredibly inspiring, his methods might not be the best or even safe for everyone.
Absolutely.
So hopefully now you can take these principles we've talked about, like the importance of diet for weight loss, the effectiveness of traditional strength training, the crucial role of sleep and recovery, and apply them to your own fitness journey.
That's what it's all about.
And that brings us to our final thought for you. How can you take that spirit of dedication and pushing limits, but apply it in a way that's actually sustainable for you?
Good question.
Thanks for diving deep with us.
Always a pleasure.